Hey Tool Talk, I'm back. I've got another video for you. Today I'm going to be greasing and servicing an aftermarket suspension. Stay tuned, there's lots of things to cover, and I think you'll find this information useful. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment for a chance to win this 1.5-inch leveling kit from Daystar. So here are the things that I would recommend spending a little extra time on while you're under your Jeep, servicing and greasing all of the zerk fittings on your aftermarket parts, and as well as um, doing your checkup at your regular intervals. Zerk fittings, you'll remove those. You'll put your grease gun on there, and you'll pump, fill that with grease, and then replace the zerk cover. You'll do that to both of these points on the JKS, and if you watch in previous videos, I had a difficult time getting the pin out. I found that the salt water in Guam had, even though I greased these, didn't allow a freedom of movement, but now I can just push it off with a couple of fingers, and this bar comes right off and flips up to the mount right here, and it just locks into place out of the way. So on the JKS items, I put a little bit of grease also on the pins as to where they mount to the axle. And then you'll stick the flat side of that clip in there and flip it, and it locks in. So those places need greased, obviously, because they have grease fittings. The next thing I would recommend to do is actually grab an old toothbrush. This is actually a brand new toothbrush, but it's cheap. I just went and grabbed it, squirt some grease on the grease gun from the grease gun onto your toothbrush, kind of like you would your toothpaste. And then take your toothbrush, hit all of your threads with grease. And this is grease that's for ocean and boat use. It's actually a marine grade, and I just go in and hit all these points so they don't rust. They look a lot better. If I didn't, you can kind of see where they already started to corrode just ever so slightly. Keeps your equipment looking new, and it keeps everything lubed up. So I hit these points, this on all my bushings, and you can do this also with the stock sway bars. If you have the Rubicon, then you have the disconnect over here electronically. But this is looking at a sport model that's been modified to have a suspension lift, have ARB air lockers, and a lot of different mods. So there's a lot of different things that I would recommend if you start modding. You make sure that you also keep up with your maintenance. Another fitting is right here. It's the track bar zerk fitting. I've just taken my grease gun and hit this point. You squirt grease in until you see it coming out the sides up under this metal here, and that is how you know you have enough grease on that location. Another particular area I think needs attention is there will be dirt that will build up in your turnbuckle, and you can loosen this and adjust your steering wheel with this knurled nut right here. Put some grease in here, clean out that dirt, make sure this is clean and oiled, greased, and then you can adjust your steering and straighten your wheel with just loosening this bolt and then turning this knurled nut which way you need, and that'll straighten your steering wheel. Where you do actually adjust the distance from your tire and your toe is right here, and this I would leave up to the professionals, because this is going to adjust the tires in and out disproportionately to one another. So take some grease, make sure this area is greased up, clean, and then this will keep this part from locking up when you do have to get an alignment, or if you do decide to align your own tires. One of the parts I recommend getting some grease on a rag or a toothbrush is my favorite tool, is to rub grease into these bolts and in this area where water and salt and corrosion will get into, especially during the winter, and hit all of these places because there's no grease fittings, but it doesn't mean you can't put some grease on a toothbrush and get down into all of these crevices. Then go back, make sure you have a good film of grease on all of these extra parts, and it'll keep a lot of this rust here you can see forming at bay, or maybe you can even prevent it and beat it to the punch. But these are about 1-year-old parts, and I think they still look pretty good considering I'm near the beach, just miles from the beach. So they've been holding up pretty good in spite of. This is the Synergy relocation bracket for the Fox shock and or stock shock. The original mount was down here and it mounted over here. Another portion I like to hit is I got a pretty greasy rag here from doing all the servicing, and then after I get the servicing done on all of the parts, I'll go through and wipe all of my parts down with a coat of grease. It's kind of like fluid film that you would use to coat your the undercoating of your vehicle. This is like fluid film, but it's a marine grade grease. I just got a lot of it on this rag from pumping a lot of this in and cleaning it up. And this was $20 on Amazon with the marine grade grease included. And I just wiped every surface down and left a thin film of oil on every part under here. And that's how, it's almost, I'm coming up on a year. This is how I've kept all of my parts very nice and new looking. If there's dust or anything on there, you can kind of just wipe it off after you've greased it, and it just keeps the dirt off. I've done that with the JKS, the new track bar, the steering, and the linkage on the truck version of your Jeep. It's much larger parts, the crossover and your tie rods, as well as your steering linkage, is all much thicker than a Wrangler. So I didn't see it worth it to upgrade that until it gets damaged or needs to be replaced. But with the thicker diameters, I was pretty happy with the performance. Another thing is here you can see everything has a nice coat of you can use fluid film, but I used marine grade. Again, just reiterating the marine grade oil that I used, and it's keeping the underside of the Jeep looking really nice.
Hey guys, if you haven't done so yet, smash that like button, click like and subscribe. We are going to do a giveaway of the 1.5 inch, which measured out, this actually is a 2-inch lift for the front of your Jeep JL or Rubicon or Jeep JT Sport and Rubicon. The Wrangler and Rubicon kit is this is a 1.5 inch level kit from Daystar. Measures out actually closer to 2 inches. And I've done a review on this. If you haven't looked yet, I've done a 1.5 inch versus 3/4 inch lift kit. I purchase extra parts sometimes for your guys' benefits so that I can do reviews on them. And then, hey, if I don't use them, it benefits you. I'm going to give you guys this kit. So click that like and subscribe, and then come spring break 2021 is when we're set to do the giveaway. Click like and subscribe in this video. I will add you to the roster, and there's no purchase necessary, and you guys can have a chance to win this.